Sonic Movie and Equestria Girls Chapter 8, The Island. A plane could be seen hovering over an island as Tails steered the plane with Sonic and Knuckles hanging on. Tails then heard a voice come from his intercoms as he picked up his communication device as he heard Twilight sparkle.
Tails, do you copy? I hear you loud and clear, Twilight. What's the situation about the island?
Back with Twilight, she was currently checking the supercomputer along with Sunset Shimmer, as the other girls besides Rainbow Dash kept their eyes on the emerald. Twilight then used the supercomputer to check the surrounding area.
It doesn't say much, but it does have some background information. The island used to be an oil factory due to the amount of oil it had, but was shut down due to safety hazards. It's been abandoned for almost a decade by now, but recent rumors suggest that the unusual activity has been going on the island. It could be one of Eggman's secret bases.
Are you sure that Tom and Maddie could be here?
I highly doubt it, and if I've learned anything from any action movie, I'm 70% sure this may be a trap. But knowing Eggman, he would want me to suffer first before killing me.
We'll report back once we explored the island.
Hey Sonic, be careful, okay?
I promise, Sunset. I'll try.
The communication was soon cut off as Tails landed the plane slowly into the woods below them. Sonic and the others soon jumped down from the plane as they did a team huddle while discussing the next course of action.
Alright, here's what we're gonna do. You guys will check one part of the island while I check the other. That way, we'll cover more ground, and we'll see what Eggman's up to. If anything does go south, then we'll signal each other using our communication watches.
Then let us begin this journey of ours.
The trio then split up as Sonic dashed in top speeds while Tails and Knuckles ran the other direction. Meanwhile, back with the other girls.
Are you sure those boys could handle this?
I hope so. Last time I checked, they're up against an evil scientist and another hedgehog.
According to my calculations, they have a slight chance they could beat Eggman and Shadow if they stay together and coordinate their attacks.
That's a relief. At least we know they'll come back unharmed. I can't bear to look at that emerald knowing I can't find wood just like that.
The downside is that if Eggman does beat them, then we'll be completely defenseless and left to fend for ourselves trying to guard the emerald.
The girls in the room stood in silence as this increased Sunset's anxiety for the situation.
But I'm sure those boys will come back safely, as long as they stick together, that the chances of them losing are slim. I hope.
I won't worry too much, Sunset. If y'all really know Sonic, then y'all would know that little critter would never break his word.
You sure about that?
Applejack could only glare at Pinkie Pie as she looked away nervously after saying such a thing. However, Sunset Shimmer paid no attention to what Pinkie Pie had said earlier as she noticed a certain individual missing.
Has anyone seen Rainbow Dash?
I don't think it's the best time to bother her, darling.
Why not?
Dashi still doesn't trust them. Have you seen her brooding outside?
I don't blame her, but I feel like something else is bothering her.
What makes you say that, Applejack?
She gives that dirty look to Sonic whenever he's not looking. I just can't understand why.
Well, you know how stubborn she could be when situations like this happen.
Sunset Shimmer could only frown knowing she could understand the reason why she distrusted Sonic, especially. For one thing, he did kind of watch them from afar without their consent, and suddenly just broke into their house while they were sleeping, tried to get back an emerald which they lost. It also didn't help that he might have put them in danger by a mad scientist as well. However, Sunset Shimmer knew Sonic didn't mean for this stuff to happen, as she knew deep down Sonic and his friends were good people. Sure, Sonic could have done things differently, but it still didn't change the facts that he helped her after the fall horrible, and that she knew he was a good person. Sadly, Rainbow Dash didn't see it that way. A voice that spoke to her from behind as she felt a hand press against her shoulder, revealing it to be Twilight, who gave her a small smile.
I'll talk with her about it later. For now, we got other things to worry about.
Back with Sonic, he ran in top speeds as he leaped off a small hill before performing a front flip in the air, before landing perfectly on the ground as he smirked.
Strange. I would have thought I would find something interesting by now.
I did think you were actually that stupid to come here.
Sonic recognized that voice as he noticed a familiar black hedgehog standing above him on a tree branch. Shadow stood there menacingly before jumping down and landing in front of the blue hedgehog.
You're the stupid one, Faker, for thinking we wouldn't try to fight back.
The only thing stupid is you compare yourself to me. Like I said earlier, Hedgehog, you're not even good enough to be my fake.
Both hedgehogs stared each other down, as the only thing that could be heard was the wind that blew past the two hedgehogs. A drip of water that fell on Sonic as a couple more soon followed, that with rain starting to pour on them. However, neither one refuses to back down from staring at the other. The only sound around the area that could be heard as the sound of rain, lightning could be heard striking as it gave the duo enough time to prepare for anything the other might throw at them.
Listen, Shadow, if that is your name, I may not know what you're going through, but what I do know is that whatever those people did to mess you up, and I get that. But why join Eggman? Why work with someone like him who was only using you?
That doesn't concern you, Faker. I have my reasons, and you can't stop me.
You don't have to do this. There's gotta be another way. They tried to use me too, but that doesn't mean I want to use vengeance against them. I know I can't change what they did to you, but I can say that you're not alone. You can make a new family, new friends.
Shadow could only glare at Sonic as he spoke to the blue hedgehog with such venom in his voice. Shadow's eyes glowed red with electricity as he tightened his hands.
I have no family. Not anymore. Whatever you say or do won't change my mind. Humanity will pay for what they've done. They took everything from me. It's time they get what they deserve.
I know what it's like to lose someone, Shadow, but revenge isn't going to solve anything. Let me help you. It's never too late to change.
After those words came out of Sonic's mouth, Shadow could only stare at him with a lifeless expression as he spoke with a dreadful tone, which left the blue hedgehog completely stunned.
It was too late the second they shot her.
Without a second thought, Shadow charged at Sonic as he tried to swing at him, as the blue hedgehog could only dodge the attack before kicking him, sending him against a tree. Shadow then got back onto his feet before performing a spin dash, which he used against Sonic, as the blue hedgehog couldn't react in time before being pushed back by the attack, sending him into the air. Shadow then formed a red lightning bolt in his hands before forming a spear as he tried throwing it at Sonic. Luckily, the blue hedgehog was able to dodge the attack in midair before landing perfectly. Sonic and Shadow then performed a spin dash as they charged at one another, creating a shockwave which destroyed the surrounding area. Sonic and Shadow were neck and neck with one another, with each hedgehog countering one another, each unleashing everything they had on another. Shadow punched Sonic in the gut, which he retaliated by using his knee to uppercut his chin. Each strike one of the hedgehogs, unleashed upon each other, could be heard around the surrounding area as Shadow kicked Sonic in the face, sending him back against some bushes.
If that's everything you've got, you might as well drop dead.
Sonic then emerged from the bushes as he dusted himself off before running in a circle around the black hedgehog. This formed a small blue tornado as Shadow could only struggle to keep up with Sonic as he tried searching for the blue hedgehog. However, the blue tornado was only a distraction as Sonic appeared up above him as he performed a drop dash on the black hedgehog, causing Shadow to be pummeled by the attack. Sonic then performed this attack 2 more times before trying to perform another drop dash, only for Shadow to open his eyes in anger. Shadow tightened his fist as he glowed red in color, as he had enough of the blue hedgehog, as it didn't take long before he shouted his attack.
Chaos Blast!
A large red explosion erupted from Shadow, causing Sonic to be sent flying by the attack, as this attack had enough force to break the trees around them, sending everything backwards in the opposite direction. Sonic could only crash land against the broken debris of broken trees on the floor, as Shadow then stood up, breathing heavily.
Not bad for an imposter.
Sonic then got up from the ground as he too could breathe heavily as he glared back at Shadow. Sonic and Shadow then had another standoff as both hedgehogs tempted one another to pull the first move. It didn't seem long before the two hedgehogs continued their battle. Dr. Robotnik sat comfortably in his seat as he waited for the arrival of Sonic's friends. The Mad Doctor didn't have to wait long as an explosion could be heard behind him. As he turned his chair over to see Knuckles and Tails standing in front of him. Knuckles stood menacingly as he held one of Robotnik's robots in his hands before crushing it, leaving the remains on the floor.
Well, if it isn't my favorite red echidna and the blue hedgehog's sidekick, what do I owe this special pleasure?
He could start by talking. Where's Tom and Maddie, and why are you here out of all places?
Party pooper, it's never fun when they get straight to the point. I thought you were supposed to be the smart one. You really think I would hide those two somewhere here?
It's not like we didn't expect this to be a trap, and yet I see no traps.
My dear Knuckles, you really think I would risk using something deadly while we're on an island full of gas oil?
Then what are you using that oil for? It's not like you need that much for your machines.
It's a little surprise I have for you three. I know we've all had bad blood for a while now, but I just wanted to celebrate our 3rd anniversary.
Enough games, Robotnik. Whatever game you're playing with us is not going to work.
Oh, but this is a game. A game that I've been waiting to win ever since I met that blue hedgehog. But I can assure you both that this trump card that I have will win me all the marbles.
Knuckles then tried charging at Robotnik, only for him to punch a shield that surrounded the Mad Doctor. Robotnik could only lift up in the air before his small ship appeared as he landed on his seat while pressing a button. Just then, a ring sound echoed throughout the room, which made Eggman pout.
Unfortunately, this little game of ours will have to wait. Looks like I've just collected all that I needed here. I guess for now, I'll leave you a taste of my surprise. Have fun.
Dr. Robotnik then left on his ship as in front of them a timer started as Knuckles stared in confusion.
I failed to understand why he would show us a timer.
The realization made Tails stare in horror as he knew they had to get out of here fast.
We need to go now!
Back with the two hedgehogs, Sonic and Shadow were neck and neck as both unleashed a series of attacks on one another. Shadow kicked Sonic in the face as Sonic could only bounce back off of a tree as he sucker punched Shadow in the gut as both figures landed on the ground. However, their fight would soon have to wait as Shadow's communicator watch would soon beep before a voice could be heard.
Shadow, my dear, you're not planning on staying on the island, especially when I plan to blow this place to smithereens.
Sonic could only look in horror as Shadow could only look on in annoyance.
Voila!
Looks like we'll have to wait to settle our match. I suggest you get a move on, Baker.
Shadow then teleported away as Sonic then took off at top speed. Sonic then used his communicator watch as he tried to reach out to the others.
Guys, head back to the tornado now. The island is...
We already know. Eggman told us before he ditched us.
Sonic could only use his full speed knowing that the island was going to blow up at any second. In the distance, he could see Tails already preparing the plane as Sonic could only jump on the other side of the plane. Tails then started the plane as they could feel the ground beneath them begin to shake.
Any sign of Donut Lord or Pretzel Lady?
No sign of that, just another one of Eggman's schemes.
The surrounding area could only be seen blowing up as Tails managed to fly the plane up in time before any of the explosions could reach them. Knuckles and Sonic could barely hold on as Tails flew the plane faster up above the air. When they were far enough, Tails flew normally as the trio could only look down at the island contained a few small explosions before a massive one took over the island.